Yo, what's good? What's good? Welcome to the Epic Anime Critics. I am Antoine.
And I'm still James.
And we are doing our first anime video on the new YouTube and Twitch channel, the Epic Anime Critics. And we are checking to see if we own or we not.
Not just yet. There we go.
Okay, so cool. So our first video, we decided to do a versus video with an anime. We're gonna do Hellsing versus Hellsing Ultimate. Is it just Hellsing or is it original Hellsing?
It was Hellsing.
Okay,
Hellsing. Yeah.
So we're doing a Hellsing that came out like 2001 maybe. Because the manga came out like what, late 90s.
Late 90s, early 2000s, yeah.
Yeah, and the actual anime came out like 2001.
I want to say
2002, around that time.
I want to say this anime, yeah, about 2000.
And he didn't just smack himself. And yeah, and so we're gonna do that. But I put together a little intro, so I hope you like it, and we'll be back with our discussion.
A to Z.
All right. That's our intro. That's subject to change, but I like it so far. But anywho, we're going to talk about Hellsing, like I said. So Hellsing came out, like I said, 2001. I seen it. You haven't seen it. You didn't see it originally, though.
I saw a few episodes of it originally. They hadn't completed it yet when I was watching it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't lay
It's only like 12 episodes.
Yeah,
though.
and
it ain't
I
like
couldn't
a long
lay
series.
my hands on all of it.
Yeah.
And so by the time I got around to watching it again,
Ultimate was out.
Ultimate was out. So like, you know.
Yeah. So I saw the original, and I really liked this. That first scene, I liked it from the first scene where they had the scene where the vampire looked like he was gonna be. It looked like it was a guy that was gonna take an innocent lady.
Yeah.
And turns out she was the vampire or whatever.
Yeah.
And they just had this cool shot where when Alucard shot her, she had these bangs, and then her hair like flipped up, and boom, the bullet went in her, and then she turned to dust or whatever. So ever since then, I was like, I love this series.
It was a good bit of storytelling, like just to jump you into it. One, it was a bit of a pump fake.
Yeah, right.
Because like I don't remember my reaction to it when I first saw it, but like going back watching it again is like, I don't remember that guy being a vampire, but this looks like he must be a vampire.
Yeah.
And then like just that psych,
Right. And yeah, look, so that's what I said. From there, I was hooked on there. But then, so we started to follow this story of what's her name, Integra. Oh shit, I don't know what's the deal with that.
God,
I just seen it. It just clicked on you like.
I swear I'm not tweaking, y'all. Oh man.
But anyway, so we can talk about the original Hellsing. So the original Hellsing, they follow the story of this organization called the Hellsing organization, where they kill vampires.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's like every other supernatural show where it's always a secret organization that's not either funded by the government or they secret from the government or something like that, and they take out the supernatural elements before they go to before they get into the world or whatever.
Yeah. It's like the
Hellsing Ultimate didn't care about that, but we'll talk about that. And the main go-to guy was Alucard, which you gotta like this character when you first see him because he's like everything that's cool in an anime character. Like he got it all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He got a cool look.
He got the long coat,
The long coat. He got the coolest look. Let's see if I can find a picture of just Alucard. He got a big gun. He got a long coat. It's like
dude got a pimp hat.
yeah, with glasses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you see him, you're like, oh, this dude dope. I mean, what else can you say?
Yeah. No, you're right.
And so you wonder, like, okay,
Classy as hell.
right? And let's get it out the way with Alucard is Dracula spelled backward. It's like, could you be just a little subtle with it?
I mean, hey, it is what it is.
So, I mean, do we come to find out later he really is Dracula?
Like in the original, like they give you a slight nod to it, where like,
right? They showed a little glimpse of that, at the end, where I'm looking like, oh, are we supposed to be surprised? I mean, his name is Dracula spelled backward. Come on,
like this is Dracula we talking about. Find me someone who's never heard of Dracula, who's over the age of 3.
Yeah,
right.
I know, but they just they threw it out there like, "Ooh, we got something for you." Like at the end of the season, like,
who are you? Dracula face.
Yeah, okay. I'd have been more surprised if he wasn't Dracula.
Yeah, like imagine that. It's like, oh yeah, I'm Brad from Milwaukee.
Brad from
what?
Milwaukee.
No.
But anyway, so he's taking out vampires or whatever. That's his thing.
Yeah.
But then they also got some other cool characters. Also, the Hellsing organization is other organizations that fights the supernatural.
So
which is the Vatican, right?
So the Vatican's monster killer squad is called the Iscariot organization.
Yeah, and they get one of my favorite characters, Anderson, Father Anderson, because he's a priest, right?
Father Alexander Anderson.
Yeah, and this is my thing. He's
he of the many nicknames.
Well, this net is showing his ass today.
Yeah.
Boy, it just won't leave me alone.
He want all the smoke,
man. So anywho, I started liking this character because one, he's a crazy Irish dude, and I was like, okay. I was wondering, is he human? He's human.
He is.
It seemed like he was taking damage.
The Vatican used some kind of
it seemed like he was taking
process
damage
to turn him into what they call a regenerator.
Right.
So
okay. So he
just
and that's in the original though, right? That's
yeah.
Is that in the Ultimate?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's straight from the manga.
Okay. Because I saw them do some things to him that should have killed a person.
Yeah.
And he kind of came back from it. And then Alucard was like, oh, you such and such. I'm like, oh, is he not human?
So, like, in the same way that Alucard's influence and technically identity is Dracula.
Yeah.
Anderson's influence is Frankenstein.
Abraham. No, I thought it was Abraham Van
Frankenstein.
Helsing. Well, I saw this side by side, and he looks a lot from the original Dracula movie.
Yeah.
He looks a lot like the guy who plays Van Helsing.
Well, I don't know about that, but
I can find that for you. It's side by side. They look just alike.
Like his powers are based on Frankenstein. So,
okay.
That like the broad teeth, the scars, all that.
Yeah, but he don't have those sharp teeth in
no, broad teeth.
Oh,
I said.
okay.
Like because
I went and okay, we're gonna talk about the difference because this is not in the original though. So right now we're talking about the original,
right?
Because in the Ultimate, everybody's teeth was like sharp or something, and I thought that was like kind of weird. Like every tooth, not just his fangs. Every tooth is more like a shark. I was like, okay. So yeah, we got other organizations and they fighting vampires, but we got one thing that the original is lacking. A proper villain.
Yeah. To finish going over the characters, though, because we really
the villains, the characters too.
I mean,
right?
yeah, but we only touched on 2 characters so far. So like
Tegra.
So the rest of the characters.
Oh, you want to talk about your favorite character, Victoria?
No, Walter's my favorite character.
Okay.
But no, so we've got the head of the Hellsing organization. Let me make sure I get this right. Sir Integra Fairbrook Wingates Hellsing.
And she is clearly a lesbian.
I mean,
it's almost like they tried to find a woman that's very feminine, but she carry herself like
they wanted her to be what's the word? a mask femme. Like
Yeah.
she's not quite butch, but
She's not butch because she don't look it,
but like
and she ain't too big or nothing.
right. But she has a
just,
very masculine energy about her.
yeah, and it seems like that's on purpose or whatever.
Yeah.
But you got
Like,
also, she a woman in a man's world.
Yeah,
You know,
like,
that's how
there's
she's gonna
this,
have to carry herself.
One
I
of the
guess.
weird things about Hellsing, so like,
What do I got pictures of her?
so like Integra is a knight. She's been knighted.
Yeah.
But for a
I
woman,
think women been knighted before. Right?
yeah, oh yeah.
Right.
But like a female knight is a dame, not a sir.
Right.
And so like
they still call her sir.
But like no one's ever been able to pin down whether Kota Hirano knew that, and he intentionally had her
He
go by
probably don't
Sir
give a shit.
Integra,
But
or if he just didn't know and he won't clarify.
I think he was. I don't know what he was trying to do, but
He a goofy dude. So.
I was like, okay, because I mean, I kind of wonder about her sexuality, but she never like really went there. She could be
Yeah.
asexual.
Well, like in the
I
manga,
mean, I always wonder with her and
Right.
Alucard.
in the manga
hooking up.
and in Ultimate, there's a weird little, like, sort of psychosexual thing between her and Alucard,
Right.
but also between her and Saris.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah. They show a lot of that in Ultimate. We'll talk about that.
but yeah,
They didn't really touch on that in the original.
right.
Which the original, it was good for a first season because it kind of set some stuff up, and
Mhm.
but the Ultimate was this all you gonna get.
Straight action.
Yeah, I mean,
From start to finish.
we gonna finish this story up. In
No,
these
we ain't
12
going to explain
episodes.
why this happened.
Yeah.
You don't need to know.
So we got the characters. Got Walter, her
Walter C. Dornez, the Hellsing family butler, former vampire hunter, also known as the Angel of Death. Then you have Sarah's Victoria, Alucard's fledgling. He turned her into vampire episode 1. I don't think we need to worry about spoilers here.
I
and
got a
then-
picture. But
right.
Go ahead, finish.
So was a policewoman.
Of course, we got a little panty shot there.
Yeah. Tons of fan service. Again, Kota Hirano. You
Yeah.
know, like him or love him or hate him. Then on the Iscariot side, we of course have, your boy Anderson.
Right. Well, okay.
The only real character of note from the Iscariot organization in the original is Anderson.
Right. Well, right, because they didn't play a big role in
Yeah.
in this one like they did in the
In
Ultimate, which those are the differences. But
But you also have his boss, Enrico Maxwell.
yeah,
Bishop Enrico Maxwell.
right. And so, but let's talk about villains. That's what the problem with the original. They didn't have no for real villains.
Like you have a bunch of
oh, was that?
no.
Oh, okay, I thought it was. Okay, that's your fault. I thought
Yeah.
for a second I was like, are they covering this?
Yeah.
Up? But
But yeah, so we've got a couple of, creature of the week villains.
that right. That's what I'm gonna say. They
Yeah.
got creature of the week villains that Alucard dispatched very easily.
Yeah.
Until they get to one last guy.
Honestly, the only ones who even have real character to them are the
I thought I had
Valentine
a-
brothers.
Yeah, right. And they were actually funny. Actually, if you listen to the dubbing was better in the original than it was in the Ultimate on them and
Yeah.
Anderson to me. I'm not sure if it was the exact same
I don't know about Anderson, but definitely on the Valentine. Well, so
because it was different people,
well,
right?
no. Luke might be, but Jan was definitely the same guy.
Well, it was different. The wording was different though.
So like
it was a different script.
So this is the thing, right? So in the original anime, they basically like just cleaned up all of Kota Hirano's personal style
Yeah.
for the dialogue. They played everything super straight.
Well, also, you gotta understand everybody's kind of European more than it ain't
Yeah.
just a Japanese
Yeah,
culture thing. It's
Right.
all it's a Japanese person thinking this how European people would talk and act.
well, like it's partly that and partly like Luke and Jan Valentine. Luke is supposed to be like extremely like upper class snobby, sort of like North American. Jan is like that one like punk rock, not giving a
But he was British, I thought, right?
No, they're not. Those two aren't supposed to be British.
No, okay, you know what? I'm thinking of in the original they had this one couple, and
Oh, those two.
but the dubbing he sounded like Ozzy Osbourne, like the guy. I was crying when I heard his voice. I was like, "Who that sound like?" And it sound like Ozzy Osbourne. The fucking monkeys. What is that?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Kind of that Sheffield type.
Yeah. So I just knew when they had like certain like Anderson had that he was Irish, but he sounded like one of them crazy Irish dudes that's drunk and drinking out of a flask and yelling and spitting and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Like, so one of the best things about the original is every time you see Anderson, he's being Anderson. Like, he's not just a guy who's having a conversation with somebody.
I wish we could show clips. That's why I need to clarify that, because it's a lot of visuals that I can give you with this, or give the people with this that we can know who we're talking about. But.
Dude, like, because I'm personally not sure, like what lines we need to worry about not crossing here on.
Yeah, I will find out, but like I said, in the original, it's one big baddie, and that's Incognito, and got a picture of it. I'm sorry, that's a little picture. I thought I had saved a bigger picture than that, but anyway, Incognito, which so, is not really. He's like a villain of the week. Yeah. He was strong. He was strong enough to take Alucard to a high level, but he was just a villain of the week.
Like, even the construction of his whole like deal is very much like, okay, so we seeded this throughout the whole season. You know, that he had a plan and he was doing the thing. Yeah. None of the stuff that went into his plan had anything to do with his plan at all. Like, the free chips didn't amount to anything. They were a distraction.
So we could talk a little bit about that main plot. People was getting turned into vampires, but they didn't do it the traditional way of a vampire biting them. They would have like a chip.
So they're all like,
I don't know why they put that in there. That was kind of stupid.
Like, so the reason they did that is because in the first couple of chapters of the manga, there's this thing where Alucard refers to all of these people as fake vampires. So like, he makes a point of like when talking to Sarah's, letting her know she's not like them. They're fake vampires.
Yeah.
And so when they were making this anime, they didn't know exactly what that meant. And all Hirano had to tell him was like, no, there's this process that they're using to make these vampires. It's not the traditional way. They're not really vampires in the traditional sense. They just have vampiric powers.
Right. So, the main plot was they created these vampires, and the Hellsing organization was pretty much going to stop them, and they dispatched Alucard. Let's talk a little bit about Alucard as far as his powers and his skill set. Now, like I said, he's a badass character, just every sense of the word. Like, when you see him, it's like, damn, he's got a lot of charisma, which Dracula do anyway. Yeah. So that's right up spot on for him.
Romanian folk hero.
Right. So when he comes on and he gets shot, you be like, okay, I guess he's just gonna dodge the bullets or whatever.
Nope.
I got that clip, and I don't know what they're gonna do.
Might as well just go ahead.
But when they shoot him,
not worthy of the lowest pits of hell. Just kill him.
Hey, so look, when I first saw that, I was like, damn, that he was all talk. I was like, man, damn, he just got his mouth blown open and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But when you find out later about Alucard, that I guess you told me he's made out of blood or something like that, because he could just
he can basically, like, if you turn this dude into a stain on the carpet,
which they did,
he can regenerate from that. So like this.
Right.
So, like, his clothing is kind of technically all made out of blood.
Right, and that's what I was kind of, just look at this. So they kind of. And I had to show that because I didn't want you to think he was just whack.
Oh, God.
He is not going to do you any good.
See, that's why I like the original, man. That music and stuff.
Yeah.
Now I do like it's certain things I love about Ultimate too. It's one of those I love things about both of them.
Yeah,
and it's hard
if they could both just merge into one solid animation, it would be perfect.
So as you see, Alucard is so strong that you can turn him to crap, to mush, and he just come back.
Yeah.
And another vampire, like, what the hell?
Because like his power is such that he's like, a pseudo spiritual existence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like we said, it's other vampires that he fight, and once he gets more of a challenge, he got these restrictions, I
Yeah.
guess, and he released the restrictions. Now, I
Yeah.
don't know how that worked, and I'm not sure what that means.
So the whole deal with him working for the Hellsing family, one of their ancestors, I believe it was Abraham Van Helsing. Basically, when he defeated Dracula, he put a spell on him that basically leashes him to the Hellsing family. So unless certain conditions are met, he can only use so much of his power. So the basics of that power is just his regeneration, strength, speed, what have you. But like all the real nightmare fuel that goes into his power, he can't use unless certain conditions are met. So it's like, okay,
Right.
this threat is too much for me to just pull out a gun and shoot it.
Yeah.
So-
We didn't talk about that gun.
Yeah.
His gun is dope.
Yeah.
That was one of the dopest guns I've seen in
Yeah.
fiction.
It's up there.
Handguns.
It's up there, certainly. But yeah, so like that's what all that is. So like
Which is not, that gun don't exist, right? It's closest, like, closest you gonna get is like a Desert Eagle, but
So-
it's too long to be a real gun. You can probably make it,
yeah.
but it's not a gun that they make.
There have been handguns made to
can't
use
be
the
bigger
same
than a 44.
ammunition that his first one uses.
Okay, right.
Because
Because this is like an automatic pistol.
so his
with-
first gun uses 4.54 Castle rounds. It's a rifle round cut down to be used in a handgun,
Yeah.
but it's still a big ass bullet.
Right, how long it is, I guess it's more kind of like a rifle barrel.
Like it's basically a carbine without a stock.
Yeah.
Is basically what it is. But it's a big damn gun. But it wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
So then he
But hold on, yeah, he got another gun. So he got two dope guns. But hold on, I think I just found this scene where the guy. Hold on, listen.
What's it to you?
Hold on. I was just want to get this. He's like, who the fuck? If I can find that shit.
If you had any control, you would travel as fog or as a bat.
Who the fuck are you?
who the fuck? Oh yeah.
Yes.
I
That's
do
why I
love
said I
that.
like the dubbing on there. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't catch all that dubbing on
Well,
the
like,
Ultimate.
part of it is like with the way they dub things now, where you have a little more wiggle room on like mouth flaps and whatnot.
Yeah.
You don't have to like be bound to like the original animation in and of itself, because like you can get the keyframes now, and so if you need to, you can rerun the keyframes to finish dubbing it in a way that makes sense. But back then, it's like, look, we got these 3 frames. Whatever you can say that's close to that in those 3 frames, you got to say it the
Right.
way it works. And so it's like, there's that pause. So it's like, who the fuck? Oh, yeah.
But it sounds good though, because he's like I said, he sounds like Ozzy Osbourne.
But like,
or somebody.
the thing that kills me about it, like, it almost feels like comedy in that scene, because it's like, oh yeah, like because he seems so polaxed in that moment. It's like he's not mad anymore. It's just like, no, but seriously, what is this?
It seems like he always let people gun him down.
Yeah, no, he does. He does.
Right, and it's like you could take him out,
He does that for fun.
but okay, we got the
Man, one of the best fights in both series is the Luke Alucard fight, just because of how much you learn about Alucard in that fight.
right. Well, that's why I said the original don't go as in depth as the Ultimate do, but they give you enough to start you off on. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's why I was like, I like it. It would be better if we get more seasons of more stuff. But
I will
you know,
say there's a good deal of stuff, like I think half of that first anime that is canon, I wish they had included along with Ultimate.
right. And oh, you know what? So this is why I even brought this up, because once he released his restrictions, and we don't know what he can do, so I got a little bit of what he looked like when he released his restrictions.
Release level 1. The Cromwell approval is now in effect. Hold release until target is silenced.
What that mean?
Now I'll show you how real vampires do battle. Hey, wait a minute. What are you doing?
I will say I do prefer this scene the way it
See,
is.
look, what the hell was that? Was that a mask or something? Like,
that was the skin sloughing off.
yeah, okay, yeah. So
but
I guess
like-
it'll turn to blood.
I do prefer that scene the way they do it in Ultimate, just because even more disturbing.
Yeah.
His flesh kind of falls apart and then like erupts into like centipedes and stuff,
Yeah.
and maggots and stuff.
See, you got to be ready for that
Yeah,
to watch
Yeah.
Ultimate because
You're right.
this is more. You know what I'm saying? It's more. It's more getting you into their
Like,
universe instead of
even-
just throwing you in.
even like from
Ultimate is like push you in the pool.
Yeah, even
This
from
I
like
put my toe in
that
first.
first episode when he first like starts reforming out of shadow, his shadow has texture in
Yeah.
Ultimate, and it's really hard to look at.
But so
Like even having eyelids.
yeah, so I showed that so I could show he just looked like a man or a regular vampire, but he's not. That's what the restrictions keep him
Yeah.
to look regular, but once he releases restrictions, he turns to like a dog and a
Yeah.
shadow, a river of blood or something.
Yeah.
It's like all kind
Like,
of crap.
he-
That's why
he
the other
does-
vampire like, what the hold
Yeah.
up, what is this?
So like, because like everybody that comes up against him thinks that they tough shit because they vampires.
Yeah,
now.
and I think he like this is his fun, like by letting you think that you can beat him.
Yeah.
Is how he has fun.
Like he always comes down and is like, "Oh, you a real vampire? Really? Okay, so can you do this?
Yeah.
No? Well, then you gotta go."
Right, yeah. But I mean, I guess you would get bored.
Yeah.
After a while, you're just so much stronger than everybody.
After a couple centuries, you gotta make your own fun.
So, okay, that's our characters and our story. Now, once we get to the end of this, version, which is pretty much season 1, he just pretty much, like I said, is a villain of the week. He fight Incognito is one of the villains, and he just I don't even know what his motivation is.
Yeah.
Did you have one? Did you pay attention to what they said?
Well, because this is the problem is even though he's the only like formidable opponent Alucard has other than Anderson in this anime.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
mean Anderson is kind of like they actually on the same side. They just two dudes that
They
they
just-
just two dudes that don't get along. Like two crazy. It's like putting two sharks in the cage. They both, and then I think what's name would think of him as a friend. Just kind of like I know you'll chop my head off every time you see me. Alucard think of
Well,
Anderson as a
for one
friend
thing,
for real.
Alucard loves the fact that Anderson exists.
Yeah,
Like he's as close to like someone Alucard can actually respect who can fight him.
yeah. So we got a little bit of Anderson.
I'd say that's a little sad,
Like that scene right there is basically, is this your man? I love
But
that.
yeah, and like I said, they on the same side. It's just they just two crazy
But
dudes.
like, so this is the thing about that is like, since technically they're an order of Protestant knights, that kind of they're from a very different version of the church than the Catholic
Right, I'm saying
Church.
they two
So,
organizations, but
yeah.
they both
Like,
fighting evil.
They just both despise each other.
Right,
So
right.
They can't really work together, even though they got a common enemy.
Now, they gave Ceres, which they didn't. They gave her way more of a character in what's her name in Ultimate, I
Yeah.
think, where they gave her more of a payoff or whatever. She just kind of like a sidekick here or whatever, and so that's why I didn't think too much of that character. But
Because with the manga and certainly with the first anime, there's a lot more focus on her character development, and in and of itself, Hellsing is supposed to be more about her like learning what it means to become a vampire, figuring out her place in the organization, and then the crazy stuff happens.
yeah,
But-
but it wasn't too much more after that, and then and then we kind of get ending with the last villain, which is like I said, it was just I don't even know what's more. He just kind of popped up. It's like, who are
Yeah.
you? I'm Incognito, and you won't. I actually don't know.
But like,
let's fight.
it's basically like, look, you got a master, I got a master. They told me to do a thing, I'm doing a thing.
Yeah, did he say who his master was?
No, you never find out who his master
Which is must be they might not known.
Like, I think they had just like gotten to the point in the manga where Millennium was a thing,
Yeah.
and by then it was
So
just like,
they was like, well, let's just keep it ambiguous and
Yeah.
make this villain. Let's see if we get a little bit of him. He can do that.
this thing doesn't have his line, does it?
Oh, I don't know.
His total destruction line.
Well, I was just seeing if I could find just a little bit of him doing something, but I didn't see. Yeah, they fighting like, I thought this was a good conclusion to a first season.
Yeah. Like, because the way this series ends, is like, I can't wait to see how they come back.
Yeah,
from this.
and that was that. But they could actually stretch it out and make this the first season and then stretch it out to get to where they got to an Ultimate.
Yeah, I'd love to see that happen. Like, just write the non-canon stuff from this anime.
He looks so just whack.
I welcome eternal pain. You have such disgusting tastes.
So that's Incognito. He's a villain of the week. He got destroyed, and that was the end
Yeah.
of it. So that was kind of the weaknesses for the original anime, where it wasn't nothing big, much in depth. I just thought it was a little more tamer than Ultimate. So let's talk about Ultimate, because I guess
Now, this is where I come in.
whereas we spent a lot of time on what's the name? But,
Ultimate is
part 1. Now this is part 2.
Part 2. So Ultimate is like there's no filler in Ultimate. Everything in Ultimate comes straight from the manga.
Yeah.
Now the downside to that is that there's a lot of stuff that you didn't catch in the first one that doesn't quite fit Hellsing's theme. But as I've said, Kota Hirano is a goofy dude, so his humor comes up a lot.
Nazis.
Nazi vampires.
No, that was not in the original, but in Ultimate, once they fight whoever, and they be like, I belong to another organization, and they find out what organization is. Oh, it's Nazis, and
Like,
they're vampires.
this is why I want you to watch Hellsing Abridged, because like they call all that out. It's like when Jan dies, it's like the one who sent me was Nazi.
No, he said, well, he didn't say Nazis.
No,
but-
in Hellsing Abridged, this is why I want you to watch
They
that.
was making fun of
So
him.
like it's like, and no one like, it's like, so did we ever find out who sent them? It was the Nazis. What? No, that would be
See,
retarded.
Okay, so this is one of my major problems with that Ultimate
It's
anime.
ridiculous.
Well, that. But once you get into it and everything gets the stakes get so high,
Yeah.
people's dying and people getting their throats ripped out, and then they cut to this. And the reason why I show this is, don't this look like a little funny anime?
Yeah.
Like Rama half. What's that? Rama
Rama
and a
one half.
Yeah, it's like Rama 1/2. It look like something like that. No, see, that's too uneven. That's too uneven. When the
Yeah.
first you got Alakor ripping throats out, and then you jump to Ceres doing a little cat face and
Yeah.
and the circle eyed. No, dude.
Well, it's like
Those
even,
are two separate
even
animes.
during the Valentine massacre, when Ceres gets Jan in that hold, in the original, it's just like it's an aside. It happened,
Yeah.
and they just keep moving. And the Ultimate,
Take it off me, bitch.
yeah. In the Ultimate, like they do switch the animation style, and they make a whole point of it. It's like,
Make it a joke.
yeah,
Yeah, see, that's a problem with me.
yeah,
I didn't like that because, as I said, in the original, they pretty much kept the stuff away from citizens, from civilians,
yeah.
and it was anybody in the supernatural world could get it, but civilians, we'll take care of it before it gets to your house.
Well, to be fair, in Ultimate, the collateral damage is on. Well, hold on. Before
I don't want to spoil it, but really,
before you get all up in arms, the collateral damage doesn't come into effect until episode 4.
okay. No, wait. What's the episode where the police come to his hotel?
That's episode 4 when
Oh,
they're
okay.
in Rio.
All right.
And so now, granted, it is not low key at all.
So what we're talking about is the
But like-
whatever group used
But-
police to attack Alucard, and he was like, "Hey, I got permission to kill these." And she's like, "Yeah, go ahead and do it."
Dude,
These just dudes doing their job.
Look, I feel sorry.
Alucard's ripping out throats, cutting heads off, and these are people, not vampires.
To be fair,
humans.
he started killing them before he made that phone call.
Yeah, that too. That's even worse.
In
Because why
in
he even bother?
self-defense, in self.
But you don't. You don't die. You don't have to kill them.
All I'm saying is,
Now, I'm not saying
when you get bit by a mosquito, don't you squash it?
that's not the point. No, that's not the point.
Because that's exactly what happened. He got bit by a mosquito, so he squashed him.
No, no, that ain't the point.
That's exactly.
No.
That's exactly
So
what.
why
it is,
even
though.
make a point to call her and ask? She should be like, "Hey, I already killed 300 people, so can I kill
Strictly speaking,
305?"
I think she called him.
Whatever.
Like
I wouldn't even say nothing.
like
I would have been like, "Hey,
She found out some shit went down, so she called him. Look, I'm gonna need an explanation. What you doing? It's like, oh no, they busted in my room. They started.
but he
shooting.
didn't have to kill them."
Dude, he does not know how to not kill when he goes up against somebody.
That's my problem.
He knows how to
Because-
sit there and take bullets to the face.
But no,
and
this
then
is hold
smash
on. But
them.
my problem is, how is this organization going to stay low key? How does the organization still let the government? Why is the government still letting them reign free when you killing cops?
Okay,
When you killing every cop on the force?
because because directly after that he found out, hey, so there's some Nazis that are going to try to run on London. So do you want to?
I would have shut down Hellsing after that. I would have been like, no, he worse than them. You ain't gonna have
because
Alucard out here
because like all like the
ripping
whole
out throats.
Look, the whole because like he wasn't doing stuff like on that level.
You got to
until-
work with the government
until
at some point.
until somebody put him in that position.
They know he didn't have to.
Dude,
I didn't. I just did, I thought it was unnecessary. But okay, so
they came in there to kill one vampire, and then they threw a bunch of cannon fodder at him.
He gets shot all the time and come back. So this literally is not damaging you at all.
Dude.
You didn't have to do this.
They weren't going to stop shooting though. And that note, look, if you
All
want,
right, man.
if you
Look,
want to
listen,
tell Alucard,
okay, I don't want to
if
stay on that too long. I want to move on. But I just thought that was like that right there. Not with me. That should have took him out of favor with the rest of the characters, like with the rest of the.
because I'm gonna tell you what.
Because he still works for an organization.
Well, so for one thing, the Queen likes Alucard.
I know that's
one
even
thing.
more though. The Queen should say, "Hey, I like you, but you got to stop killing
No. But this is my thing.
cops who doing their job."
So the
security
way-
guard, he kills security guards. He kills everybody that worked there.
But look, so this is the thing, right? Their lives were considered forfeit the second they tried to point a gun at Alucard.
Okay, right, but they was just following orders.
It don't, dude. So
He
were the
could've just
fucking
fought-
Nazis.
No, I'm not. We're not gonna have that discussion.
Look, all I'm saying is you picked the wrong side.
Okay, what?
You picked the wrong
All right.
side.
That was my issue where I'm like, okay, so
He does not pretend
okay,
to be
let
a
me
good
get
guy.
to what I liked about Ultimate, where they had actual formidable foes
Yeah.
for him. Where
They had a lot of great characters in Ultimate.
right where you get to
Great character designs, I should say.
yeah, but it was funny though. Once they fought him, they was
Oh, it was over.
right. So it wasn't no. I didn't get no. I never got worried. It's like I didn't. He never for real was challenged.
No.
He just maybe I can release. He had like 3 restrictions. So
Yeah.
one was maybe okay. I release 1 restriction, 2 restrictions. Okay, well wow, I get to release all my restrictions, and it was a wrap. You know. They start introducing. I don't know the name of the guy who threw the cards.
Tubalcain Alhambra.
Okay, I don't want to know that name again. But they had, start off with a guy
The
throwing
dandy
cards,
That's
and
what
you
he
kind
called
of
himself.
you're
The
right.
dandy
So
man.
you kind of start saying, okay, it's some people that can actually hang with him or do.
Yeah. If nothing else, that like they
When he got
have
tired
it-
of playing, when he just
Yeah.
wrecked him. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So that was, it was
How
just
many
him having
people
fun.
did he stab with his hand in this?
I don't know, but it was. I was like, oh, okay. Like, boy, there's no intense moments because I never feared for Alucard ever, and so I fear more for the villains, and they always confident until they realize, oh, I didn't know what I was dealing with.
Well, like one of the things I love about it is like every time you cut back to the Major, the guy who runs Millennium, like
Yeah.
it's always
So when we talk about them.
we
So
have
this is
to.
the main villains of Ultimate Nazis, and
I mean, they're technically
they was a group from the Nazi.
they're technically not
Party.
in and of themselves Nazis.
Well, let's just say
Their
the
group
Nazis
was
that was
cre-
left over from World War II went into hiding, and they were a branch of them, right?
So they were it's kind of like the whole thing with the Thule Society. They don't ascribe to the things the Nazis believe in, but they were bankrolled by Nazis.
Right, but see, the thing was they are Nazis because they was ran by the main guy. I guess they killed the last one, and the major just
because
kept control.
the major didn't give a shit about Nazism. He just wanted
right. He
a
just
war.
wanted to, yeah.
Like, so everyone who's left in Millennium is in that group because they wanted a war.
Okay,
And
the
before
show
they
was
could get
fun in its
deployed,
action and
World War II ended.
visuals, but the main story just started to get me like.
Oh no, the story is
goodness.
bullshit. The story is absolutely.
It's just like
dog
where it
shit.
was kept going. I was like, why are y'all going here? And
Like
like
Hellsing is about story beats, not about plot.
yeah, but it turned into a big takeover thing, right? Or I want a war. Why did he want the war? Just for a war?
Because he was a warmonger. He didn't give a damn.
Okay, so the main
But, like,
character wanted a war.
He also
just
wanted a rematch.
right. He wanted a war just to have a war for no reason, and
so
he made an army of vampires, and
So there's two things. One, when Millennium was founded, like the reason he got into it, the reason he brought the Doctor in with him, he wanted this like overarching war to end all wars, like putting like powers at play that couldn't quite be conceived. And before he could get what he really wanted out of it, two things happened. One, World War II ended. And two, Walter and Alucard got sent to wipe him and his boys out.
yeah.
So he barely survived that, and at the time they weren't ready for deployment, so he took his shit, crawled into a hole, and bided his time.
Right, and that's uninteresting.
So
like I said, the
really this
characters-
whole thing is a revenge plot.
I know, and when it got to the point,
He just
of,
wanted to beat Alucard.
right, and when it got to the point of let's bring this home, I was like, stupid. I like the visuals though. I like the action, and then a little shot right here of Anderson, and Anderson didn't play that much of a big role in this. He was kind of a side character in this too.
I mean, he was like a mid boss.
Yeah, and the end. What happened there?
The major wins.
Well, okay, we ain't got to talk about straight detail, but it had the whole ending of he turned back into Dracula, and that was like his final restriction, right?
So yeah, he basically like Alucard's been draining people of blood, eating souls this whole time. So when he finally lets loose all of his power, every soul he's ever
And
absorbed,
it's like a big river of blood. It's kind of ocean of blood.
yeah, blood/souls.
Yeah.
And so like all of the Knights of Wallachia, the Turks, everyone he's ever killed, and you get a real sense for what that number is once he lets all of his restrictions go.
Which is cool. That was cool, but the whole ending.
And so the idea is once he lets all this out, because basically the reason he can keep coming back after he dies is because he basically burns a soul to come back.
Yeah. So that was cool, and then they ended it with, I guess he made himself look young again or whatever. And I thought, oh, that was cool. But what really made me say I'm out is when you found out the major, and this is a spoiler, so who cares? The major is a damn cyborg.
I still don't get why that's such a sticking point for people.
What?
The motherfucker is the motherfucker makes vampires and werewolves and shit, and y'all big problem is that he's a
can't
cyborg.
Do that at the end of the series. That is such a cheat cop out. It's such a bull crap move. You cannot do that at the end of the series. He was a robot the whole time. What?
But why is it a problem though?
How is it not a problem?
After all the ridiculous bullshit,
And out of nowhere, you a robot. How? Who made you? You made yourself?
I mean, dude, he probably had.
So they never explained why he didn't grow, why he didn't get older, but we know now because he's a robot. But the whole thing was,
at some point,
they didn't say nothing like, okay, he was around since the 1940s, and now this is present time, and he's the same age. They never addressed that.
Well, like for one thing, they didn't think they had to.
Why wouldn't they?
For the same reason you don't have to address why Alucard didn't age. The motherfucker.
Because he a vampire.
And so the Major's making vampires. You didn't think he turned himself into one?
Well, I did, but then at the
so
end.
then it doesn't matter how he didn't age.
Okay, but at the
One
end.
way or another, you were going to assume he
But at
found
the
a way
end,
not
okay,
to.
we assuming he's a vampire, but I'm not a vampire. I'm still human. And then they attack him, and then you see robot
It just
parts
filters
come
in-
out,
it
and you're
just-
like, what? They didn't prepare you for that at all. Come on, man. You was cool with that?
Yeah.
No way.
He was already building a war machine, so he turned himself into a machine. Fuck it. Who gives a damn? He's a fucking warmongering psychopath. I don't care why he's still alive.
Okay, well, moving on. The Major was a robot.
Like,
The main villain was a robot the whole time, y'all. Let that sink in.
Like, it's weird. It doesn't make sense. But then that's Hellsing.
Okay, so that was my final straw that broke the camel's back on my Hellsing original and Hellsing Ultimate. For us, which one I like better. Now, Hellsing Ultimate got better action, better animation,
Better villains.
better characters, but the plot,
It's garbage.
I could not get.
It's kind of garbage.
It was
But,
too
I
much.
don't watch Hellsing Ultimate for plot. I watch Hellsing Ultimate for nightmare fuel and killer action.
Nightmare fuel. You want to have nightmares, but
I like that dark shit. You know,
Right, okay.
Like even like some of the villains, right? So Tubalcain Alhambra aside, you know, like we have like the villains go out of their way to let you know they don't give a fuck. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so Tubalcain Alhambra pretty much like cheats an entire police force in Rio to send them at Alucard just to draw him out. You have Rip Van Winkle.
yeah.
Uh,
Now I like Rip Van Winkle.
She's got a musket with magic bullets. Dude, that
Which
fight.
is funny.
I love that fight so much. Like she's basically tossing this bullet into Alucard over and over. This woman has
which doesn't even matter because it doesn't do anything. I mean, it's the same thing with Alucard.
well,
just
it did actually hurt him. Like the magic on the bullet does actually hurt.
you know what he remind me of? When Freddy Krueger used to act like things was hurting him, and then he's psych, and he'll stab or whatever.
Dude.
Oh, you hurting me? Oh, shut your ass.
But like just on like
That's how I was thinking
the
about.
animation, the dubbing, like just storyboarding. When he finally decides to stop playing with her, and he literally catches her bullet in his teeth.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And then he's like,
he literally just let that happen.
wait, look, and then as his face is raggedly blowing in the wind, look what I just
Yeah.
caught. Like
chewed it up. I'm like, so what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying?
that's what we're doing here.
All the bosses.
That's what we're doing. The whole thing is, hey, so you want to ride on some Nazis? That's what
Okay.
Hellsing is.
All right. I mean, cool.
Like, dude,
whatever.
Fucking Anderson has his fucking.
So if they knew where they was at, then it wouldn't even be a show, right? Because they just put Alucard on him and he just destroyed
yeah.
him.
I mean, like even so, like the whole thing, right? So the whole point of having Tubalcain in Brazil was to take Alucard off of British soil to a place where they couldn't control the media, to get them out in the open. Done. The whole thing about putting Rip Van Winkle on that boat was to get Alucard out somewhere where he couldn't immediately come back in and crush their entire invasion. Done.
I wish I would have.
The whole
got
reason
some of
of,
the pictures
of
those,
getting Heinkel, well, if she had actually done her job and not jumped the gun, was to keep Hellsing busy long enough that they could have completed trouncing the entirety of London before Alucard even came back, and would have been done with the.
I mean, the stakes are higher. The stakes got higher. They took out the whole London or whatever.
Yeah.
Killed civilians or whatever. It's cool, whatever. I just like the original better because it was more tame. I mean, I like the Ultimate had some good stuff in there.
It's definitely more straightforward than the original.
Yeah. Like I said, those the vampires, the little vampire all his bosses or his underbosses or whatever. I like the whole group. Because one, I like when there's a group and they all like very different powers. They all look different. You know, males and females. You know, I like that.
And whatever Heinkel is.
I thought she was a female, right?
Sure.
She had the
Sure.
she had the cipher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I liked them, but it was so funny that when Alucard got there, they all what's her name? She just like crying and shit. Like, what the? Come on, man, give me something better.
Well, like, so this is the problem. So
Like she totally, Rip Van Winkle was talking all stuff, laughing and stuff.
Well,
and then
so
as soon as Alucard got there, she broke down.
So
and
this
was
is the
scared.
thing about all of them. Like, what differentiates them from the rest of Millennium is they're not in it to die. Like all the soldiers of Millennium, like you put a gun to their head, they're like, "Yeah, pull the trigger. I want this shit." You know, but like they all became vampires for power. So that's why Rip Van Winkle at the end was like crying and shit, was because she didn't want to die. You know.
So basically, when they knew Alucard got there, they couldn't beat him. That was that.
Like they thought they could beat him, and the Major let them think they could beat him, just because he wanted to see that shit happen.
Right.
And
It helped his plan. All right, I understand that. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I wanted a better challenge for Alucard.
It's not about Alucard.
No, for me, I'm talking about my personal feelings.
No, I mean like strictly
damn it.
speak, like from a narrative standpoint, the story isn't about Alucard.
I know, but he did all the bulk of the fighting.
Yeah.
So I need the person who's doing the fighting for the good guys to have a challenge. And I didn't really see a challenge on his part. It was just, I'm going to play with this guy till I get tired of him and then wreck him.
Strictly speaking, Hellsing is about Integra and Ceres.
Yeah.
You know,
I know. Which
so
I was wondering were they going to do some lesbian sex or whatever. But she said she was a virgin.
yeah.
But I was like, well, she let her put her finger in her mouth. Anyway, she sucked her blood, and then it's always something sexual there, right? With
Yeah.
this blood sucking and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, was Integra, were they gonna go there? Is Integra gay? Did she wanted to get with Ceres or whatever? And they always said, and then she said she was a virgin. We knew that Ceres was. I was wondering, was she gonna go there or whatever? But a lot of times they just leave that kind of to your imagination.
Like,
in
largely,
these animes.
like with Integra, at least from what I've read from like interviews with Kota Hirano, Integra is like her sexuality isn't gender dependent. It's just all based on domination, which is the whole origin of her character, the way he wrote her. But the idea is, like, his answer to most of those questions is, yeah, sure.
I know this. He'd be like, yeah, just let your own imagination take off with that.
It's like that sounds great. Yeah, sure. Why not?
But no, I mean, it was cool. They made Ceres. They gave her a little more, because in the original they just called her police girl the whole damn series.
I mean,
in here at least they never even said her name in the original. Like they just called her police girl.
no, that's not true.
No, they said Victoria a couple of times, but most of the time it was police girl. Come here, hey police girl, hey police girl. Like, damn,
look,
I got a name.
I mean, like, one of the good things about the original is a lot of her stuff had nothing to do with Alucard and Integra. It was her working with a unit, and the guy running that unit always called her like Miss Victoria.
Yeah, whatever. It's cool. I know. I'm just saying. I don't remember her, and her name is.
It's better than the nickname she had when she was a cop.
What?
Kitten.
Anyway, so yeah, that was Ultimate. It was good. They actually had a couple more characters. The French guy. And,
Pip Bernadotte, leader of the Wild Geese mercenary group.
yeah.
Who ends up being subcontracted to Hellsing after they lose all of their men against the Valentine brothers.
Right, and they did their little group wrong
Yeah.
too.
The Iscariot organization, Father Anderson has a couple of subordinates, Heinkel Wolf.
Right,
and
which
Yumi
none of them was in the original.
Nah.
So
they're
that's
all
what I said.
from
It's a
the
lot
manga.
more. This show was better served to go on longer though, instead of wrapping it up in 12. But they was longer episodes.
Yeah.
So they was like almost like an hour long. They pretty much an hour long.
It was
episodes.
basically like, look,
So if they was 22 minutes, they could have ran in 2 seasons.
they just wanted to like actually get the story of the manga told in essentially without any of the plot necessary stuff.
Right. That's rare too, because you don't usually get the 44-minute episodes. You get the only 22, because this airs in Japan.
Well,
and
so
then
Ultimate was an OVA, so it was made.
it was OVA, so
Yeah.
it was kind of like, so it was just like 12 volumes.
Yeah,
Instead of
pretty much. Yeah.
episodes. All right, yeah. So anyway, Ultimate, my opinion, the original. I like the original better, but Ultimate is a better anime. Just by technical wise,
Yeah.
everything was better when I watch it over, but it just got a little too out of hand for me, and I end up liking the original better. But just looking at both of them, you can't say that the original was better than Ultimate just by looking how well Ultimate was made. You know,
Like Ultimate's definitely got better animation, but then it's made later, so it's better.
right? Yeah,
You know, it's more canon compliant. You
Yeah.
know, which doesn't say anything about the original, because the original is at least 50% canon.
right.
But it's just they didn't know where that story was going.
Yeah.
Thank God they didn't know where that story.
I know.
'Cause can you imagine like
But see, I'd rather them just plant the seeds and just stop
Yeah.
right there and
Yeah.
not just, you don't have to show everything. But that's cool.
they're both definitely good enough that if you're going to watch one, you should watch both.
Yeah, because they similar, but they different enough. Kind of like Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
You can watch both of those and they are a lot different. They like go in similar directions, but they like very different.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we might do a Full Metal Alchemist
I'm down.
versus
I'm down.
to Brotherhood. But yeah, that's our discussion on Hellsing versus Hellsing Ultimate. I don't know if we got an hour in, but it's pretty close. This is our our debut video for Epic Anime Critics. But we're gonna do some more. We're gonna try to do every Saturday. We're gonna try to stream every Saturday at noon. That is our goal.
Yep.
But we still might do some more on Wednesdays, but pretty much every Saturday at noon. So if you like our content and you like to hear about anime, you like the discussion, check us out every Saturday at noon and follow us. Does it work the same way as YouTube? Like subscribe or?
Just follow. We ain't at the point where we're going to be getting subscriptions just now, but go ahead and follow the channel. If you like what we're putting out, feel free to hit us up either here or on our YouTube channel. If there's anything you're trying to see us review, anything you're interested in, you want to know our take on, and soon we're going to be having like our social media links attached to our profile. So we're going to work on all that.
It's already on the video.
No, I mean like on the
I
profile.
know.
Like on our Twitch profile.
I know.
But we're going to work on all that. Everything should be down below, but like for when you're not watching the video, and why aren't you watching the videos? But we got a lot of stuff, so hit us up here or on our YouTube channel where you can find a lot of our reviews from other movies and TV shows.
All right. Yes. Thanks for checking us out, and we are out of here. We'll see you next week, and possibly, well, I don't know. I can't commit to what we're going to do, but we
Right.
will talk anime. Know that. And we'll get a schedule up. Once I get my schedule, I'm going to post the schedule, and then you'll know what we're going to do.
Absolutely.
All right. So we out of here. Thanks for checking us out.
Sayonara.
Peace.